Hi, Mark Cleghorn here for the Photographer Academy, and today we're talking about wall art. It's always been an ambition from the first photograph I ever took to see things big on a wall or on a magazine cover or inside a book. And it doesn't matter how many times it happens, it still really exhilarates me to see my kind of image in use somewhere. And in the sales room, we have to have that same ambition. The salespeople selling our photography have to absolutely believe in that same thing. In other words, photographs deserve to be on a wall and not on a USB stick. I know there's a lot of money in the likes of digital file sales and so on, but the reality is what I still want is basically photographs being sold and shown on gallery walls. When we start to look, this is kind of Mark Cleghorn core. So this is black and white kind of image. It's black framing, it's got a deep mount, in this case it's a double mount, but within the kind of the maximum size, this is Mark Cleghorn core. You've been able to see this style of image from me since probably 1988, okay? And I split me down the middle, I'm black and white, that's really what I am, even though of course I'm a prostitute, which means I do shoot in colour as well. But as far as walking into a client's home, 5 years time, 3 years time, 10 years time, and seeing one of your photographs on that client's wall, it's just absolutely amazing. So why in the sales room do we not think that people want to buy our photographs? I believe that most of the time at present that you're trying to get an easy sell. And I love Alan Sugar, Lord Alan Sugar I should say, Amstrad fame and The Apprentice in UK, where he talks about just because something's cheap doesn't mean you're a good salesperson. Now, I totally believe in that it's about quality and it's about your core. And if you concentrate more on the quality element of your business, you're soon going to find that clients are more reliant on your professionalism, your product, what your kind of imagery stands for, yeah, whatever style you're in. But what I love about Alan Sugar is that kind of simple saying. Look, it's not about being a salesman, all right? It's not about selling it cheap. It's about selling amazing forever. That is a photograph that is going to hang on somebody's wall and they're going to cherish it forever. As soon as you start to basically accept that, then we're going to start to win. We're going to start to win. Why? Because you believe in yourself. You believe in your own photography and you believe in your own core. So whatever is your style of photography, whether it's the color style of photography or whether you're a black and white photographer, it doesn't really matter. What matters is the way that we present the product. So trying to have a gallery style of viewing your images, in other words, try and hang them in your studio or in your home if that's where your clients are coming to, but try and hang them in a way that you would expect to be seen in a gallery. If you can do that from day one, you start to actually put a kudos and almost a zero on the end of your price list. So in other words, if you truly believe that you want the kind of the £1,000 sales, the £2,000 sales and so on, the first person I've got to impress, in fact, is you. I've got to get you believing in yourself before I can even get a client to believe. If it was left to me, I'd give all my photography away. Let's face it, okay? I'm passionate about photography. I love to take photographs. And at the end of the day, there you go, just take the photographs. But we can't do it because photography is the only way I've put food on my family's plates ever since I became a professional photographer. When we opened our first studio up, I had a very young family. One was only weeks old. And my wife believed in what I could achieve. But together as a team, we then started the Mark Cleghorn photography. Now, when we opened up to begin with, I didn't understand and know all these things that we know now. I thought kind of photographs were sold as packages. I've been shooting weddings for about 3 years, so I understood that somebody was willing to pay X and get Y. But I hadn't kind of put X and Y together in the portrait field. And it took me about 6 to 8 months to realize, in fact, that I had to spend time thinking about how the client was going to be sold the photography without the sale. And a changing point came when we moved away from proof books into online sales. Then it used to be on a projection screen. Today, with the technology we have, you could do this on television, but it allowed my photographs to be shown big. Why the devil do I want to show images big on a projection screen or on a television screen if we don't believe the client's going to be buying them big? So understanding that that image, when you take the image, is inspiring that client to actually want to buy it from you. That's the first thing. That's your job as a photographer, is to make sure that you feel that you've inspired that client to buy. And if that client doesn't buy in the way that you want them to buy, you go next, okay? You move on. But still, you can hang it on your wall. Still, you can use it on your website. Still, you can use it in your brochure. But inspiring clients has to start with you and your photography before anything else. Once you've kind of settled into, like I was saying about my core and everything else with it, yeah? Once you settle into here and you know what your style is and your brand is, your core is, then you can start to think about the wrapping. I love a star bar. Some of you are going, what the hell's a star bar? All right? It's a chocolate bar full of biscuit, nougat, and basically it's got like a caramel, and I love it, okay? In fact, Jay loves them downstairs as well. If he's a good boy, he gets a treat with it. However, the wrapper on the outside of that star bar does only one thing. It identifies its brand, and I can walk to it in a sweet shop to see if it's there. If I can't scan and see the yellow and orange brand of the slim bar, then I know they don't sell it. That's what a wrapper is on my photograph. The true value of this photograph is not the frame, it's not the wrapper, it's the actual image itself. Believe in that, sell that concept to yourself before you sell it to a client, and then we can start to really look on as far as the pricing is concerned. As far as the wrapper is concerned, that's down to you. That's to do with your business, your styling, and more importantly, the client's home. So when we start to look at trying to make things fit into clients' homes, some photographers fall into the trap where you're beginning to offer so much variety that basically you've got 100 different styles of molding. That's the kind of the style of the frame edging, or you've got like an acrylic or a glass or a metal print or whatever it would be. It's down to kind of the wrapping, all right? For us, what we're really looking at is how are we going to be perceived? You have to make that decision. I can't tell you that at all. What I know in Mark Cleghorn land, as it were, that I would much prefer a simple black style of frame and the mount, okay, a white mount or a single or double mount, it doesn't matter, but that is my kind of go-to. And if most of my images in the studio galleries or in the sales room were just that, do you know what people are going to buy? They're going to buy that. Why? Because what people see, they buy. Remember the star bar, okay? So if I kind of put all coloured frames all around the gallery, there's nothing wrong in that, but you've got to be aware now that's what the client is going to be buying from you. So as far as kind of keeping things in a neutral or in a little bit more kind of classic way, that's really down to you. So straight away, again, we're seeing exactly the same core frame molding here. We're seeing a little bit more embellishment as far as the mount is concerned, with fanciness and double colours and so on. But then equally next door to it, we've got a simple wood style. It's unobtrusive. And that's what I really prefer in the world of presentation, is a wrapper that is not going to take the kind of the viewer away from my photograph. The photograph is the most important thing. I've got to remember that. The client has got to remember that. And in the sales room, they've got to remember that. The more they talk about what type of frame that would suit this image, the less they're talking about buying multiple wall art. So when we're in a viewing room, okay, this is what we refer to as 40-inch glass, okay? So that's the physical size, inner edge to inner edge, as far as the glass is concerned. And then whatever print size is in here will obviously depends on the thickness and the mount that we decide on. But this is decided, the finish, the presentation, is decided when they're paying me. In the viewing room, when they're making their decisions, all we're talking about is how's that for size? Is that the kind of size that we do? And what I'm on about, in fact, is the actual glass size, yeah, the inner edge glass size. And from within there, when we've kind of taken all the money, then we can start to talk about, okay, so would you like to go for the black frame, the wood frame, or the light frame? Okay, those are the first things. Or out of the three choices, what kind of thing would you like? Whatever is your kind of wordology, and this is what we do a lot with the experience group, how we kind of finish off in the sales room and so on. But at the end of the day, they shouldn't be talking about the choice of frame within the sales session itself. That is done when the job is done. If you think that you need the wrapper to sell the photograph, you need to go back to basics and actually really start to look at what the photograph content is to begin with. So I love the likes of the box frames. I like the choice of the kind of the simple kind of the key lines at times. But as far as in the sales room is concerned, what I'm going to do is start with is how's that for size. If the client says that's too big, we then come down a size. We come down to 30-inch glass. So this is the height here. In fact, it's exactly the same height here as the skinny that we're seeing over the other side. So let's kind of just take this one off the wall for a minute and we bring it across. And then we start to look at all three of those together. And now you can start to see what we refer to as a triptych. And the triptych is the power of the sales room. Why? Some photographers think that if they put lots of photographs in one frame, it's the best way to do it. I think it's too easy to sell that to a client because yes, it's great value for money. What I'm more interested in is once they've decided on one, and whatever size that would be, then when they get to their other favorite images, then we go, okay, so are we looking for it in the same size? That's the first question I've got to ask. I mustn't suppose they're going to be hanging them together. They might have a different home, a different place in the room, and so on. If not, though, as soon as we come down from the 40-inch, we go to the 30-inch glass. Now, this, as you can see, is pretty much the same size. So by going to the glass edge, it allows us to sell the triptych, the quads, the fives easily because we don't have to think about how it all kind of fits together. So instead of kind of looking at just the one image, once we've done here, we're going to go to the next favorite image and we just go to that one. Then, of course, we can go and choose the third image to go with the triptych. And that's how we start to get multiple wall art sales. If we don't believe in ourselves, then how is the client ever going to believe in what we're trying to be selling to them? So, point one, believe in yourself. Point two, ignore the wrapper. Make sure you're selling on size before anything else. Then point three is then at the point of sale, when they've paid, then discuss how the photograph is going to be wrapped around it. I know I've kind of jumped all over the place in here, but to begin with, the first thing is inspiring you to believe in your own photography and why it should be big on a wall. If you do not believe it's going to be big on a wall, nobody else is going to believe it, and all you'll ever sell is digital files. So if you do want to sell big wall art, you've got to make sure that you're talking about wall art. Hope you enjoyed this quick film. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.